Hello everyone, I'm Michelle. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a beaded bead like this. Alright, so let's get a materials list going. Alright, so we're going to need some 4mm bicones. I've got these peachish pink colored 4mm bicones. And then we're going to need some 2mm, either rondelles or fire polish. You can even use another color of 11/0s. They're about the same size. And then 11/0 seed beads. I'm using galvanized silver, and 15/0s. I'm using galvanized silver as well. Okay, I've got a size 10 beading needle and about arm span and a half of Fireline. Alright, I'm just going to pick up one of my beads as a stop bead, bring it down until you got about a 6 to 8 inch tail, and go up through the bottom of that bead. And put on your stop bead. Alright, then we'll pick up 4 of our 4mm bicones. Alright, and bring those down. Can you see those bicones on screen? Maybe I need to get a darker color. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm going to replace those peach with these opaque colored pink, opaque pink, so you can see them better. Alright, so let's pick up, like I said, 4 bicones. Alright, and bring those down to your stop bead. Alright, and then we'll come up through the bottom, the bicone that's closest to your stop bead. Alright. We'll come up through that bead. Alright, and then there we have let me see if I can zoom in. We have a right angle weave unit. And then we'll come down through that side bicone, and we'll pick up 3 more bicones. The thread's coming out the bottom, so we'll needle through the top of that very same bicone, pull, and there's your second right angle weave unit. Needle through the bottom bicone and back up through the side. We always want to be in that side, coming out of that side bicone, so we can add our next unit. Pick up 3. Three bicones coming out the top. We will needle through the bottom. And then I'm going to turn my piece so I can go through that top bicone. and then down through the side. So there's 3 units. Pick up 3 more bicones. Coming out the bottom. Needle through the top. Turn your piece so you can go through the bottom bicone and through the side. Alright, there's 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 more, pick up 3. Bicones. Needle through the opposite side of that bicone. Needle through the top bicone and down through the side. We're just working our way around till we get to that side bicone, the one we're always working out of. Okay, now we're going to close this up. Okay, we're coming out. We're going to be working out of these 2 end bicones. All right, these 2 end bicones. So we're going to pick up 1 bicone and needle through the second bicone. We're just closing this up by making a unit. And we pick up 1 bicone and needle through the opposite bicone. Okay, and there we have our unit closed, but let's go back and go back through that unit that we just created. Get hold of the thread here, and then the top, and then back down through the side. Alright, so now we're looking down on it like this. Right? We're coming out of that bicone is going like this. We want to go into the very next bicone that's laying horizontally like this. See? We're coming out of this one like this. And we're going to go into the next bicone. Horizontal bicone. And then, you know, this is kind of floppy and wonky and hard to hang on to. So do the best you can. Pick up a 2mm crystal. And we're going to go into the very next horizontal bicone. We're going around the top edge, and then we'll do the next thing to the bottom edge as well. Same thing. To the bottom edge, pick up a crystal and go into the very next horizontal bicone. Pick up a crystal, go into the very next horizontal bicone. Pick up a 2mm crystal, go through the very next bicone, pick up crystal, go through the next bicone, pick up a crystal, go through the next bicone, and 2mm crystal. Okay, make sure that's pulled snugly to where they're pretty secure together. And then, see, that's the top part we did. We'll just rotate to the side, go down through this vertical bicone, rotate to the bottom. We'll go through that horizontal bicone, pick up a crystal, go through the next horizontal bicone, pick up a crystal. You might have to pull your move your stop bead out of the way. Go through the next horizontal crystal or bicone, crystal bicone. Pick up a 2mm crystal and go through the next horizontal bicone. Oops. Pick up a crystal, go through the next bicone, pick up a crystal, go through the next bicone, pick up a crystal, and go through the very next bicone, and crystal. Alright, and make sure that's pulled snug, and it gives a little more structure to your piece. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to embellish the center of each unit. So we're coming out of the top 2mm there. We're going to come down through the vertical bicone that's right underneath it, like this. Alright, and then we're going to pick up a 2mm crystal, and we're coming down out of this vertical bicone. We're going to jump into the next vertical bicone, and we're going to lay that 2mm right in the center of that unit. And then kind of spin your piece a little. Pick up a 2mm. Like I said, if you don't have 2mm crystals, you can use another color of seed bead. Coming down, your thread's coming down out of the bottom of this bicone. It's got to be coming out. Jump over. See, our thread goes from here to here, and it lays that crystal right in the center. So go through the top. These beads are tightly together, so it might take a little working with it, finagling. And there we go. Pick up a 2mm. Coming out of the bottom of that bicone, be coming out of the bottom of the next one, like that. Kind of rotate your piece as you work. Pick up a 2mm, coming out of the bottom. You go through the top and come out the bottom of the next vertical. bicone. Do the same thing. Pick up another, coming out the bottom. I'm going to go through the top, come out the bottom of the next vertical bicone. One more. Pick up a crystal. And go through the top of the next bicone. And lay that crystal right in the middle. Alright. So we're coming out of that vertical bicone. We want to come through, we're coming out this way. Let me move my thread out of the way. So we're going to come through that horizontal bicone on the bottom. I might have to turn it so I can get through. I'll go through that crystal first and see if it helps lead me through. Yep, help me lead me through that bicone. Then we'll come up through that vertical bicone on the side of that unit, and then we'll try to come back through that bicone and the 2mm crystal. Alright, so we'll be working along the top and bottom edge. So we'll do this top first. We're coming out of a 2mm. I'm going to pick up 3 11/0 seed beads. Coming out of this side of that crystal, go needle through the opposite side and try to get that 4mm bicone and the next crystal. And that puts your, I'm not through the crystal, but that gets you in place to put on the next 3 11/0s. Alright, so we're coming out of that next 2mm. We'll pick up 3 11/0s. Go through the needle through the opposite side of that 2mm and the 4mm and the next 2mm, like that. Add your picot. Pick up 3 11/0s. Go through the opposite side of that 2mm and then through the bicone and then through the 2mm. If you can get it at the same time, it makes it a lot easier. If not, you'll have to go through, one at a time. Pick up 3 seed beads, needle through the opposite side, the 4mm and the 2mm on the other side. Alright, pick up 3 seed beads, needle through the opposite side, the next 2 beads, the bicone and the 2mm. We're back to that tail thread. pick up 3 seed beads. We're going to needle on the opposite side our thread's coming out. Oh yeah, and we're just going to go through that 2mm this time. Okay, so now we have all of our little picots put on. We're coming out the 2mm we went through we added that picot to. Now we're going to come up through that side 11-0. We're working our way to the top bead of that picot, so we'll go through the side 11-0. And then through that top bead of that picot, the very edge of that picot, like that. Thread's coming out here. Now we'll pick up a 15-0 and we'll jump into the next top picot bead. See that? That 11-0 that's on the very top of that picot. Pick up a 15-0, jump to the next top picot bead, pick up a 15-0, go to the next 11-0 that's on the top of the picot. Oops. And that will draw all these sides in eventually when we're finished. Okay, pick up a 15-0, go to the next top bead of the next picot. See how it's starting to pull them in. Pick up a 15-0 to the next bead and pick up a 15-0, and don't get the bead between or the side bead. Go through that top 11-0 of that final picot. Now pull, kind of put your finger on top and pull, and that's what you get. Now go around those center beads, go around and around a couple times to make it strong, and then go over, work your way to the 2mm beads, make your picots, and then join them together with 15-0 on the next side and come back. Alright, let me help you work your way. I went around and reinforced my inner circle there for my, these are large hole beads. Makes them nice. You can use them with any kind of cord. But let me help you work your way to the other side. So I've just finished coming through and reinforcing that circle. So I'm going to go up through. Let's see, what bead am I coming out? I'm going to come up through that silver 11-0. It's a side of the picot. And then we'll come through that 2mm. And then we'll come through the 4mm bicone. Oh no, we don't have to. We'll go up through the vertical 4mm bicone. Okay, and then we'll go through the 4mm bicone on the top, or the next other side, And then if you can get that 2mm at the same time, that's what you'll need to do, because you need to be coming out of the 2mm, right, to begin adding your picots. So go ahead and add your picots all the way around to your 2mm beads on this side, and then join them together with your 15-0. Come back and we'll sew the threads in. Okay, so I just finished my other side, my other hole, reinforcing it. So I'm going to come up through that side, picot bead, okay, and then I'm going to come through that 4mm and 2mm, bicone and crystal, and then I'm just going to go grab a thread bridge right between these two beads, right between the 2mm crystal and the bicone. It's the top row we did before we put on our picots. We're going to sew off on that top row, and I'll pull down until I have a small loop. I'm going to put my needle through the loop, pull, got a knot there, and then go up into the next bicone and pull that knot up in there, and then grab your thread bridge between the next two beads, pull down a knot, and go through the next bead. Alright, so just do that a few times, all the way, well, actually around the top, and then do your tail thread on the other side around the bottom, tie half hitch knots, and then come back and we'll look at our bead. Alright, so here is the finished bead. Very pretty, large hold, or a large hole beaded bead. You can use any kind of, and if you don't want to use cording, larger cording, you can always glue bead caps right here. Just put a little bit of glue around this inner edge of the hole and lay your bead cap on it, and that'll make a smaller hole, and it looks nice. Alright, so there's our beaded bead. There's our lesson for today. I'll probably put this in the playlist, Back to Basics. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.